Good day, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. This is Erica Carlson, speaking for the affirmative team. Raising the bar for 2 million plus students across the nation is no small effort indeed. We defend the need for high standards and quality programs for students and committed community partners who can be awarded a charter. We also recognize that our diverse nation has diverse student needs. The negative team has not sufficiently addressed the need for nimble schools who can adapt to a rapidly changing world. The argument is simply one to sustain the status quo in public schools. This is exactly the problem that Ted Kolderie, godfather of the charter movement, described when he said, "We don't want the old model done better. We want options for new models on how to do school." Now, are there jokers and crooks out there for their own gain instead of the benefit of students? Sure. But we can find the same types in politics and business. So we say that some bad apples are not justification not to go apple picking. Now, few would argue that the school systems in America have little room for improvement, and the affirmative team has not provided a compelling direction or vision to take us forward. Charter schools, however, seek to address real problems with classroom size, dropout rates for students living in poverty, and the technological demands of a 21st century world, to name a few. The opposition has stated that charter schools take needed funding away from public schools, and, on the average, students perform no better than their public school counterparts. Now, we would like to remind our audience not to fall for the tyranny of the average. If educating students was a static operation, the average would be a useful comparison. But since education is based on context, teachers, resources, student motivation, etc., looking at the average is at best incomplete, and at worst detrimental to the shared goal of meeting the needs of our students. Ladies and gentlemen, let's turn instead to the examples of charters with successful results, who are doing groundbreaking work. Now, we might say the sample sizes of these successful schools may still be too small to be statistically significant, but they are calling our attention to practices that work. These are still the schools to study and emulate. As a subpoint, we'd also like to note that the opposition has measured student outcomes by testing results only. This perspective is narrow and archaic. National tests are one measure, yes, but consider also the need for soft skills such as time management and collaboration. Charter schools like High Tech High in California are making these 21st century skills a major focus. These schools can challenge the old industrial Prussian model that we know as public schooling. We say that flexibility continues to be a stronger argument in support of charter schools than against them. The opposition, citing a NAEP report, has argued against a longer school day. We affirm that this argument is far more complex than simply comparing school hours with equaling standardized test scores. Hours in school does not equal instructional time. Hours in school does not measure how much time is spent on math, science, language, etc. And international comparisons are usually based on a required minimum. Students in China, Korea, Japan commonly attend night school or tutoring sessions in the evening. Our central point here is twofold. The data does not show that American schools have a longer school day. And basing decisions about schools on false perceptions about what a school day actually means could be quite damaging. We challenge the affirmative team to look again at the potential for charter school flexibility. Overall, the affirmative team asserts that an attentive study to the best way to run charter schools still remains the best way to progress options in education. Let's look again at accountability. Charter schools are expected to achieve educational outcomes within a certain period of time, or have a charter revoked. Public school teachers and supervisors have faced little to no consequences for their poor performance because they're protected by civil service regulations, tenure laws, collective bargaining agreements. It's time for things to change. Charters also serve children who are not well served by traditional public schools, especially low-income students in urban areas. We point to the Mastery School in Minneapolis as an example, serving traditionally African American students. They look specifically at a curriculum that's steeped in African history and believe that understanding this culture is crucial to closing the achievement gap for these students. Contrary to what the negative team reports, there is evidence that students in some charters are outperforming their counterparts in public schools. 2013 Stanford study looks at 27 states representing 95% of all charter schools. They say it's possible to pick winners, and they look at the percentage of charters that are growing in their success rates, and specifically points to minority students, students in poverty, English language learners that are posting stronger academic results in comparison to previous studies, and in some cases, their public school counterparts. In conclusion, we maintain that charters are an American idea. They are democratic, innovative, and hold hope for the future. Thank you for your time.